So, are you just living longer or are you actually living better? It's a pretty provocative question, isn't it? For decades, modern medicine has been completely obsessed with just stretching out the human lifespan, basically just tacking extra years onto the end of our lives. But really, what good are those extra years if you spend them frail, sick, or unable to do the things you love?
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into Dr. Peter Attia's game-changing book, Outlive, The Science and Art of Longevity. We're going to explore his total paradigm shift of a framework, moving away from reactive, last-minute healthcare and shifting towards a highly proactive, strategic approach so you can live a longer and fundamentally better life.
All right, here's our roadmap. We'll hit the Medicine 3.0 revolution, how to defeat the four horsemen, why exercise is your ultimate longevity drug, fueling and resting your body, and finally, building your personal centenarian decathlon. Let's get into it.
Part 1. The Medicine 3.0 Revolution.
Right now, we're living in the era of Medicine 2.0. This system is completely reactive. It treats you after you're sick. It's kind of like trying to catch a falling egg right before it splatters on the floor. Medicine 3.0, on the other hand, is proactive. It's about stopping that egg from falling in the very first place. It intervenes decades before a chronic illness ever even shows a symptom.
And the ultimate goal of Medicine 3.0 boils down to the difference between lifespan, which is literally just the raw quantity of years you're breathing, and healthspan, which is the actual quality of those years. Healthspan means living free from physical disability and cognitive decline. Because honestly, nobody wants to hit 100 if those last 20 years are spent suffering in a hospital bed, right?
Moving on to Section 2, defeating the four horsemen. Now, we have to understand the enemies here. These are what Dr. Attia calls the four horsemen of aging: cardiovascular disease, cancer, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, and metabolic dysfunction like type 2 diabetes. These four conditions are the absolute heavy hitters. They cause the vast majority of deaths and physical decline once we cross 50. To put the stakes into perspective, look at this number: 90%. A staggering 90% of American adults have at least one marker of metabolic dysfunction. That means their bodies are literally losing the ability to properly process energy and blood sugar. And this is a massive deal because it acts like rocket fuel for the other three horsemen: driving heart disease, feeding cancer, and accelerating cognitive decline. So our core strategy has to be about building resilience. We want to mimic centenarians, those folks who naturally live to 100. They don't have some magic genetic password. Rather, they are just incredibly resilient. They naturally delay the onset of these diseases by decades. And the great news is we can actually do that too through some highly targeted tactics. Which brings us to Section 3, exercise, the longevity drug. I really want this quote to sink in. Attia states flat out, exercise is by far the most potent longevity drug. We spend billions on flashy supplements and crazy diets, but the data is crystal clear here. Absolutely nothing prevents physical and mental decline as effectively as exercise does. It delays nearly all chronic diseases and can literally add up to a decade of extra life. Check this out. The data here is just wild. A massive study of over 750,000 veterans showed that the least fit individuals have a four-fold higher risk of dying compared to folks in the top 2% of their age group. Being totally unfit carries a greater risk of death than essentially any other cardiac risk factor out there. No joke. So how do we actually do it? Attia breaks exercise down into four logical pillars. First is stability. That's your foundation to prevent injuries. Second is strength, building actual muscle and grip. Third is aerobic efficiency, often called Zone 2 training, which builds the health of your mitochondria, the literal power plants inside your cells. And fourth is anaerobic performance, pushing your VO2 max, which is basically how efficiently your body uses oxygen when you're going all out. And we've absolutely got to talk about strength, because we're all fighting a ticking clock called sarcopenia. After you turn 30, your muscle strength drops by 8 to 17% every single decade if you aren't actively lifting. You have to fight to keep it. I mean, in the history of humanity, no 90-year-old has ever said, "Man, I really wish I had less muscle right now." All right, Section 4, fuel, rest, and mindset. Let's start with nutrition. And notice we are not talking about restrictive fad diets. Attia wants us thinking in terms of nutritional biochemistry. The goal isn't just losing weight, it's optimizing your metabolic health. A huge piece of this puzzle is protein. Most people drastically underconsume it. To keep that crucial muscle mass we just talked about, you really want to aim for about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight every day.
Next up is rest. Honestly, think of good sleep like a legal performance-enhancing drug. We absolutely need 7.5 to 8.5 hours a night. Chronic bad sleep is a disaster. It wrecks your metabolism, triggers insulin resistance, and shoots your dementia risk way up. Your brain is quite literally power washing and repairing itself while you're asleep.
And the third supporting pillar here is mindset and emotional health. In the book, Dr. Attia is super candid about his own severe struggles with mental health to drive home a really powerful point. Striving for physical perfection is a total curse if your emotional well-being is in the gutter. All this longevity stuff, it's completely meaningless without joy and fulfilling relationships.
Bringing it all together in Section 5, your centenarian decathlon. This is maybe my favorite concept from the whole framework. The centenarian decathlon is basically a list of 10 specific physical tasks you want to be able to pull off in the last decade of your life. It turns vague health wishes into actual measurable metrics. Do you want to hike a mile and a half? Get off the floor using just one arm? Pick up a 30-pound grandchild? Or just carry your own groceries? But here's where the math gets very real. Because our strength naturally drops as we age, we have to reverse engineer our training. If your goal is to scoop up a 30-pound kid when you're 90, you can't just wait until you're 90 to train for it. Factoring in natural muscle loss, to lift that 30 pounds at age 90, you need to be able to deadlift roughly 75 pounds today at age 40. So I want you to really think about this right now. What are your 10 events? What do you actually value the most? Is it traveling independently, playing a full 18 holes of golf, walking the dog? Nail down what matters most to you and let that become the exact blueprint for how you exercise today. It helps to think of your physical capabilities exactly like a financial retirement account. The bigger the reserve of strength, stability, and cardio fitness you build up early on, the vastly better off you're going to be down the road. Every single workout is you actively depositing health into your future. To wrap this explainer up, remember, longevity is not just something that happens to you. It's something you earn. The real work of extending your health span starts decades before you're actually old. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Are you going to stay a passive patient, just waiting for Medicine 2.0 to catch you when you fall? Or are you ready to embrace Medicine 3.0? Take charge of your health span and start training for your final decade right now?